This is your AP Government video on media influences. In our discussion about the media, there's some really important ways that the media can influence people or influence government. And these are probably the most important themes of this particular chapter. The media should be helping us to create a dialogue and debate so that we end up getting the very best candidates. The goal is to try to come up with the very best ideas, and if things don't work, try something different in the future. Social media tends to reinforce existing beliefs. So if you're currently getting most of your information about candidates, politics, what's going on in the government from your social media sites, I would encourage you to get rid of all of the social media from those existing sites and use, some actual news sites, people who do this on a daily basis professionally and have some journalistic standards, so that you're not mixing personal biases by your friends and family who you trust, and certainly from social media platforms as well. Because we're getting more and more of our social media beliefs, and because it is influencing those things, we're a lot less informed than we used to be. There's lots of different studies where people have gone out and questioned citizens, sometimes even after they've watched a news show, and then find out that they actually know less about what's going on in the world around them than they had maybe 10 years ago. The media also provides context for us. They frame these issues, and if they're doing a good job, they should frame it in a way that we make a broader understanding of that particular story, why they chose to do that story. And that should be part of what the media source does. Otherwise, if we don't have any context, then it might seem like it is biased or like it is untruthful when it might not be. A lot of times, breaking news, which is a big, important news story that's currently unfolding, because news organizations want to be the first one to announce something big or the first one to get an interview when some story is ongoing, a lot of times during breaking news, the information they're telling us is actually not truthful. You'll see during a lot of things like school shootings, you get journalists who go to the scene and they're just talking with anybody randomly who had any connection with that particular school or who went there or who might want to speculate about what's going on, even though no facts have been found in the investigation to that point. Most media is for profit, and therefore the profit motive is a major contributor to the media sensationalizing or trivializing really important stories. There are nonprofit news sources, if you look for them, and those, if you give them a try, might give you a very different feeling or different type of news. We do have a lot more media choices today, so it's not just newspapers and TV. There's lots of avenues, but because there's more choices, you as a person need to figure out how best to get your information. Just like nobody would suggest that you eat sugar and candy and junk food all day, because that would be bad for your body. Doing the same thing by looking at your media through only social media and biased sources is also distorting the way that your brain does critical thinking. So you really need to think more about the media choices that you're making and maybe broaden your horizons from where they currently are. If you are making ideological media choices, just because a news station tends to be more liberal or more conservative does not mean that it's fake news or lies. As long as that particular organization is labeling their opinion shows as opinion or their commentary shows as commentary, and they're doing good fact-checking and reporting and putting things in context, then that is also legitimate news. So just because something seems to be liberal or conservative does not necessarily make it fake. A lot of times there's an uncertainty over the credibility of sources, and then people make you think that if all of the media is bad and it's all, together and being run by the deep state. That's not necessarily true. There are good sources out there and you do have to find them. and it can take you a while. If you haven't really created a daily diet of good media sources, then you should probably get in the habit of doing that, particularly as you move on to college and you become an adult.